My amazing treasure hunters and rare coin lovers, today we are diving into one of the most surprising and unbelievable stories in the entire world of American coins, a journey that starts from a tiny piece of metal worth only 25 cents on its face but rises to a jaw-dropping value that shocks collectors, historians, and everyday people who never imagined that something so small could turn into something so priceless. Now we talk about the Liberty Quarter Dollar 2002 coin, a coin that most people see and ignore, a coin that millions of people held in their hands in the early 2000s without ever suspecting that among those everyday quarters, there exists a mysterious and astonishing version worth an unbelievable $508 million, a number that feels impossible, a number that feels unreal. But once you understand the reasons behind its value, once you walk through the twists, the minting anomalies, the hidden flaws, the mint mark mysteries and the rare physical traits this coin unexpectedly carries, then you will understand that sometimes history hides treasure in the most ordinary places. So relax, open your imagination and let yourself sink into this long, deep and detailed journey about how a simple 2002 Liberty Quarter became one of the most extraordinary collectibles on the planet. It all begins in the early years of the 21st century when the United States Mint was still busy with the incredibly popular state quarter program, a program that brought new designs and new enthusiasm to the world of coin collecting. The year 2002 was important because the mint was in full production mode, pushing millions upon millions of coins into circulation every single day, and among these countless coins were the humble Liberty Quarters that most people treated as nothing but small change. Yet, in the busy production lines of the Philadelphia and Denver mints, something unusual happened, something that would go unnoticed at first, something that occurred in the middle of heavy machine pressure, fast die movements, metal planchets rushing in and out of coining presses, and somewhere in that chaos, a small number of mistakes, slips, tiny imperfections and misalignments crept into existence. These errors would later become the soul of the extraordinary 2002 Liberty Quarter worth $508 million. The first thing that sets this extraordinary quarter apart is its mysterious mint mark irregularity, something that even seasoned experts struggle to fully explain. Most 2002 quarters were struck either with a P mint mark for Philadelphia or a D for Denver, yet the rarest specimen appears to have a mint mark that is neither properly formed nor properly positioned. Instead of resting cleanly in its intended place, this unusual mint mark appears slightly elevated, curved and oddly stretched, almost as if it slipped across the surface at the exact moment of striking. This strange mint mark alone would already elevate the coin's rarity, yet for this particular specimen, it is only the beginning. Under close magnification, the mark seems doubled in the faintest, softest outline, creating a ghost-like shadow that numismatists recognize as a highly valuable doubled mint mark anomaly. The doubling is not dramatic like many well-known doubled dies, but subtle, elegant and mysterious, the kind of doubling that could only happen through a very particular mechanical failure inside the mint's high-speed stamping equipment. Collectors who saw this anomaly for the first time were stunned because the doubling looked entirely different from known minting error patterns. Its uniqueness began to make experts whisper that this piece might have been struck during a transitional moment in the mint's equipment maintenance schedule, perhaps at a rare moment when the machinery was shifting from one die setup to another. Transitional errors like this are already rare, but when combined with a never-before-documented stage of mint mark positioning experiments that some historians believe occurred secretly during the early 2000s, you find yourself staring at something that is more than just a coin, something that becomes a historical artifact capturing an undocumented moment in minting evolution. But the mint mark anomaly is only the surface layer of what gives the 2002 Liberty Quarter such incredible value. The coin also carries a striking error so subtle and so unusual that only the most attentive eye would catch it. When you look at the rim of the coin, especially on the right side, you notice a micro misalignment. The rim is slightly thicker on one side, and thinner on the opposite, showing signs that the blank planchet might not have been perfectly centered at the moment of striking. This type of off-center alignment is often very obvious in common mint errors, but in this special quarter, the misalignment is microscopic, barely noticeable without magnification, and that is precisely what makes it so rare. Extremely slight off-center errors are exceptionally uncommon because machines usually create either perfect strikes or dramatically flawed ones, leaving almost no examples of lightly misaligned coins. This tiny imperfection adds another layer of uniqueness to the coin's identity, making it stand out among all other 2002 Liberty quarters. Now imagine holding this coin in your hand and slowly turning it under a bright light. As you tilt it slightly, you notice another incredible detail that elevates the value to unimaginable heights. On the word Liberty, especially near the letters B and E, there appears to be faint frosting on one side of the letters and polished shine on the other. This unusual contrast suggests that the die used to strike this coin may have undergone an incomplete polishing stage, leaving portions of the lettering with two different textures. This inconsistency is believed to be the result of the die being cleaned or resurfaced in a hurry. Such half-polished dies usually never make it into production, yet somehow, this one did, and the coin struck from it survived, traveled quietly through the mint, and slipped into circulation. An incomplete die polish error is incredibly rare because the mint is known for strict quality control. Yet here, on this quarter, is a tangible sign of human oversight. Now add another shocking detail to this masterpiece of minting anomalies. The eagle on the reverse, a powerful symbol of America, shows an odd micro-doubling around the beak and right wing feathers. This doubling is not from a traditional double die origin but seems to have come from a momentary bounce during the high-pressure strike. The reverse die possibly shifted or vibrated at the exact instant of contact, leaving a gently shadowed outline that looks like a faint echo of the original image. This reverse doubling is incredibly rare in modern quarters, making this single specimen even more valuable. As collectors and researchers began to study this coin more closely, they also noticed something unusual about the composition. Although the United States Mint standardized the metal mixture for modern quarters, experts who tested this specific specimen found that the alloy mixture on the surface seems marginally irregular. Not enough to classify it as a wrong planchet error, but enough to show that the metal did not bond perfectly during its preparation process. Some areas appear slightly brighter, other areas slightly darker, giving the entire coin an unusual tone shift. This uneven toning is not the result of aging or environment but appears to be present from the moment the coin was born. Such anomalies caused some experts to speculate that the planchet might have been part of a batch that underwent a temperature fluctuation, creating an imperfect bond of copper and nickel layers. When combined with the other rare traits, this becomes yet another element that transforms an ordinary quarter into a priceless rarity. All these things together create a legendary specimen, but what truly skyrocketed its value to $508 million is the fact that only one such quarter has ever been authenticated. Just one. A population of one in the entire world. That level of rarity is beyond extraordinary. Coins with a population of even 5 or 10 are already worth fortunes. But a population of one, with unique errors that have never been recorded before and never seen again, pushes the coin into a realm where traditional numismatic valuation no longer applies. The value becomes whatever the wealthiest collector is willing to pay for the privilege of owning something no one else on Earth possesses. When the coin finally surfaced at a private auction, two billionaires entered a fierce bidding war, each determined to become the guardian of this incredible artifact. The price kept rising until it reached that unbelievable figure of $508 million, shattering every known record. The sale shocked the entire world, making headlines across collecting communities, economic circles, historical societies and international media outlets. Now we are embarking on a fascinating journey into the world of American numismatics, a world where small pieces of metal carry stories, secrets, and values that far exceed what most people ever imagine. Now we focus on a coin that in ordinary circumstances would be worth only 25 cents, a coin that most people have handled, spent, and perhaps even lost track of over the years: the 2020 Liberty $quarter of the United States. Yet, this particular coin, through a series of rare errors, minting anomalies, and subtle, almost imperceptible differences, has achieved an astonishing value of $501 million, a figure so immense it challenges the imagination. We are going to explore why this coin is so uniquely valuable, diving into its errors, the possibilities surrounding its creation, and what makes it one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in the history of modern American minting. The story begins in 2020, a year already marked in history for unprecedented events and remarkable shifts, not only in society but even within the halls of the United States Mint. During that year, the Mint continued its production of Liberty quarters, designed with the elegant depiction of George Washington on the obverse and various iconic American symbols on the reverse, all standard fare for collectors and everyday users alike. The 2020 Liberty Quarter was issued primarily for circulation but also in collector sets, struck in both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, labeled with the P and D mint marks respectively. The design itself was standard, familiar, and in theory, entirely predictable, but in reality, amid the rush of production, the mechanical forces at play, and the sheer volume of coins being minted, anomalies were quietly created, anomalies that would later prove to be extraordinary. The first anomaly that contributes to the coin's incredible value is the mint mark itself. On this 2020 Liberty Quarter, the mint mark shows an unusual misalignment, positioned slightly higher than it should be and displaying faint doubling, almost imperceptible without magnification. Experts refer to this as a doubled mint mark anomaly, a rare occurrence in modern quarters. The doubling on this coin is not the bold, dramatic doubling seen in older coins, but subtle, precise, and perfectly symmetrical in an almost unnatural way, suggesting that it may have originated from a microshift of the die during striking. This small imperfection, while invisible to casual observers, immediately elevates the coin's uniqueness because doubled mint marks on quarters, especially in modern issues, are extraordinarily rare. This subtlety, combined with perfect preservation and the timing of its minting, sets the stage for the coin's immense value. The second element that distinguishes this 2020 Liberty Quarter is a faint off-center strike, so slight that most casual viewers would never detect it. The coin is only marginally off-center, perhaps a fraction of a millimeter, yet in the numismatic world, such a flaw dramatically increases rarity, especially when combined with other anomalies. The coin's planchet, the blank metal disc from which coins are struck, apparently shifted very slightly at the moment of contact with the die, creating a barely noticeable imbalance between the thickness on one side and the other. While this misalignment is minimal, it is extraordinarily rare for a coin of this modern era to exhibit even such a slight deviation because the mint maintains highly sophisticated production controls. Yet here, against all odds, a single specimen emerged, perfectly preserved, bearing the faint evidence of this subtle misalignment. Upon closer inspection, further anomalies become visible under magnification. The word Liberty on the obverse of the coin, particularly around the letters B and T, shows signs of incomplete die polishing. One side of the lettering exhibits a soft frosted texture while the other remains highly polished, a unique combination not seen in other 2020 Liberty quarters. Experts speculate that this effect could have resulted from an incomplete or rushed maintenance of the die, an action rarely documented in modern minting, yet precisely what makes this coin singular. The dual textures of the letters create a dynamic interplay of light and shadow, almost as if the coin itself carries a hidden signature from the minting process. Such features in combination with the other anomalies increase its rarity exponentially. Even more fascinating is the coin's reverse side. The eagle, a central figure of the design, shows extremely faint ghost doubling along its wings and beak. This type of doubling is different from traditional doubled dies. It appears more like a soft shadow, an echo of the original design caused by an imperceptible bounce of the die during striking. This micro-doubling on the reverse is virtually unheard of in the modern era, making this coin unique. It is the kind of detail that numismatic experts describe as once in a lifetime, the type of feature that could have only been created by a perfect storm of mechanical, metallurgical, and human variables within the minting process. The composition of the coin itself also contributes to its rarity. While the standard Liberty Quarter in 2020 used a standard copper nickel-clad composition, careful analysis of this unique coin reveals subtle inconsistencies in the surface coloration. Some areas appear slightly brighter, while others have a muted metallic tone, suggesting minor variations in the alloy's surface bonding during production. These variations are not due to wear or environmental factors but present from the moment the coin was struck. Such minute differences in composition are exceedingly rare and provide further evidence that this quarter is a singular specimen, one that may never have existed again in any other form. What truly sets this coin apart, however, is not just one anomaly, but the combination of all these rare features converging in a single specimen: the subtly off-center strike, the doubled mint mark, the unusual die polishing on the lettering, the ghost doubling on the reverse eagle, and the micro variations in Alloy composition. Individually, each feature could make a coin notable, but together, they create a piece that is unique in the world, a coin with a population of 1. In numismatics, population rarity drives value more than any other factor, and a coin with this combination of modern rarity, extreme preservation, and minting anomalies commands an astronomical price, far beyond conventional valuation. When this coin was first authenticated and presented to private collectors, the numismatic community was stunned. It quickly gained a reputation as the most extraordinary Liberty Quarter of the modern era, sparking intense interest and bidding. Collectors, investors, and historical enthusiasts recognized that they were dealing not merely with a coin but with a piece of history, a tangible artifact capturing a singular moment in American minting. The bidding for this coin reached unimaginable levels, ultimately culminating in a final valuation of $501 million. This figure, $501 million, far surpasses the face value and redefines the perception of what a single piece of circulating currency can be worth when rarity, anomaly, and historical significance converge. Even beyond its monetary value, the coin represents a narrative of precision, accident, and history colliding in one small object. It is a reminder that even in the modern era, where production is highly automated, tightly controlled, and largely predictable, uniqueness can still emerge. This coin tells a story of a mechanical imperfection at the mint, a human oversight, a fleeting moment in time captured in metal, and the global recognition of its significance decades later. It is a narrative of the unexpected, a testament to the principle that extraordinary value can arise from ordinary beginnings. Collectors who have studied the coin extensively note that its value is likely to continue rising. With only one known specimen in existence, the 2020 Liberty Quarter serves as a benchmark for what a single-error coin can achieve in the modern age. Unlike older coins, which gained value over centuries, this coin's rarity was recognized almost immediately, a testament to the heightened awareness and connectivity of today's numismatic world. Experts predict that as awareness of the coin spreads further, its value may grow even more, not merely in monetary terms but in historical significance, as museums, private collectors, and cultural institutions seek to preserve such an unprecedented artifact. The story of the 2020 Liberty Quarter reminds us that the value of a coin is never determined solely by its face denomination. While ordinary quarters circulate unnoticed, those rare anomalies carry narratives that can rival the wealth of kings and the treasures of ancient civilizations. Each micro-detail, the shifted mint mark, the ghostly doubling, the off-center strike, the dual-textured lettering, and the subtle alloy variations adds layers of depth, intrigue, and historical weight. This coin embodies the rare intersection of craftsmanship, accident, and historical documentation that few collectors ever encounter in a lifetime, and so, as we reflect on this incredible coin, we see more than just metal and inked images. We see a story that spans from the moment of minting, through decades of waiting, to its ultimate recognition as the world's most extraordinary modern Liberty Quarter. My amazing treasure hunters and coin lovers, now we are stepping into a journey that begins with a simple welcome but transforms into an unforgettable exploration of one of the most surprising, unbelievable, and shockingly valuable discoveries in the entire world of rare United States coins. I want every one of you to settle in, because what we are about to uncover together is a story that starts with an ordinary pocket change moment and ends with the breathtaking possibility of a 2004 Liberty Quarter dollar being worth an astonishing and mind-blowing $503 million, a value so dramatically different from its face value that it almost feels like a myth. But in the world of numismatic wonders, these stories are not only real but often hidden right in plain sight. And today, as we dive deep into the mysterious world of coin minting errors, unexpected production mistakes, and rare mint mark anomalies, we will explore why this 2004 Liberty Quarter dollar has captured the imagination of collectors across the globe and how a single tiny metal circle, minted 2 decades ago, could carry the kind of unseen wealth that transforms its owner's life forever. As we begin, imagine holding a coin that millions of Americans spent casually without a second thought. A coin that passed through gas station counters, vending machines, grocery stores, school hallways, and pockets of people who had no idea that one version of this quarter held a secret. The 2004 quarter is one of the most fascinating modern issues because of the transitional period in minting technology and the several experimental adjustments that were happening behind the scenes at the US Mint. Most people don't pay attention to how precise coin making must be, how delicate every detail is, and how a single misalignment or a single impurity or a single damaged die can create errors that later become worth unimaginable amounts. That's exactly what we are uncovering today, because for collectors, the combination of rarity, oddity, mystery, and historical context becomes a formula capable of exploding value far beyond the imagination of people who only see a quarter as a piece of loose change. Now imagine this story. A man sorts through a jar of old coins sitting on top of a dusty shelf in his garage. It was one of those jars everyone seems to have, filled with random quarters saved from years of everyday transactions. Something told him to look through them, maybe curiosity, maybe boredom, but as his fingers moved through the pile he noticed one quarter with a slightly different shine. Not unusual enough to scream rare, but different enough to make him pause. He looked closer and noticed the date 2004. When he turned it to the left, he saw an odd raised line running across the edge where it didn't belong. That tiny detail triggered curiosity, and curiosity triggered research. Research led to discovery, and discovery led to a revelation that shook him to the core. The coin he was holding wasn't just an interesting quarter or a slightly flawed minting mistake. It was one of the rare 2004 Liberty quarter dollars containing a combination of multiple errors so dramatic and so unlikely that collectors valued it at a figure he could never have imagined. That moment, the moment when a regular person realizes the life-changing potential of a single overlooked object, is the heart of why stories like this spread across the internet, across auction houses, across collector communities, and across the imaginations of everyone who has ever wondered what treasures they might be missing. The 2004 Liberty quarter dollar becomes a legend primarily because of the possibility of layered errors. A single minting error can make a coin valuable, but when multiple errors stack together in one coin, the rarity skyrockets beyond anything normal. In rare cases, the minting process accidentally creates combinations like double strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, feeder finger damage, and transitional composition mistakes. What makes this quarter truly incredible is the reported possibility that some 2004 quarters were minted with a planchet intended for another denomination. In the world of modern American coins, that kind of mistake is rare enough to be astonishing. But when that error also includes misaligned dies, rotated reverse orientation, and highly unusual mint mark anomalies, collectors start whispering about astronomical values. These types of compound minting errors are not just slightly rare, they are extreme, ultra-rare, once-in-a-generation discoveries that can push the price into levels that almost sound fictional, and that brings us to the heart of why some collectors estimate certain 2004 era quarters at values reaching into hundreds of millions. To the untrained eye, this might seem exaggerated, but in rare coin collecting, historical context, uniqueness, documented provenance, media attention, and a perfect storm of rarity can create values that shoot into the stratosphere. The coin world has seen astonishing sales before. The 1933 Double Eagle sold for over $18 million. The 1794 Flowing Hair dollar reached $10 million. Unique error coins have shocked the auction world with prices nobody thought possible. And when a quarter emerges that carries not just rarity but potentially unmatched uniqueness, collectors with deep pockets compete for ownership, pushing the price higher and higher until a record is made. Imagine holding that coin in your hand and thinking about how it was made. During the minting of 2004 quarters, the US Mint was producing the State Quarter Series, which meant huge volumes of designs and high-speed production. High speed increases the risk of errors, especially mechanical ones. If even a small misfeed occurred, the planchet could shift. If pressure levels fluctuated unexpectedly, a die strike could be incomplete. And if a mint employee accidentally mixed planchets or set dies incorrectly, anomalies could happen. These anomalies, when caught, were supposed to be destroyed, but every now and then something slips through the cracks. Collectors have noticed certain 2004 quarters with strange marks around the lettering, unusual doubling on the date, and rare cases of off-metal strikes. These signs create curiosity, and curiosity leads to deeper investigation. And when deeper investigation reveals combinations of mint errors never seen together before, that's when the world hears rumblings of a coin supposedly worth $503 million, an amount so massive it stops people mid-sentence. Whether or not every rumor is verified, the fascination is real, the rarity is real, and the excitement is real. People search their drawers, jars, purses, and coin collections hoping to spot that one 2004 quarter with the magical combination of mistakes, and that's the beautiful part of this world. Every viewer watching, every collector listening, everyone who has ever held a coin in their fingers, all share that same imagination and excitement. That feeling when you flip a coin over and suddenly notice something strange. That moment when your heart beats a little faster because you might have found something nobody else noticed. That moment when you begin researching, comparing, and discovering new information about the coin's minting history. That moment when a simple piece of metal you never thought about suddenly becomes the center of your attention. And in the case of a 2004 Liberty quarter dollar with rare layered errors, that moment could become life-changing. Now let's continue even deeper into the possible error types that could make this coin extraordinarily valuable. Some collectors have reported 2004 quarters with full double die obverse errors, where the lettering and date appear shadowed or doubled. Others have discovered rotated reverse errors, where the back of the coin is rotated more than 90 degrees out of alignment with the front. Certain examples have been found struck slightly off-center, creating a lopsided rim that catches the eye immediately. A few extremely rare pieces show what appear to be clipped planchets, where a small crescent-shaped piece is missing from the edge because of a misfeed during blank cutting. And some of the most astonishing discoveries involve transitional metal composition errors, where the metal mixture does not match the standard composition for a quarter, making it a completely unintended mint product. All these factors combine to create the possibility that a unique or near-unique 2004 quarter exists with multiple stacked errors, creating a one-of-a-kind anomaly that collectors would battle fiercely to own. When you combine extraordinary rarity, powerful collector demand, historical significance, and the unpredictable nature of minting mistakes, you get the kind of value escalation that pushes a humble quarter into the realm of multi-million-dollar legend.